Today, we are going to explore 18 timeless lessons from Buddhism. These teachings are not about converting to a religion. They are about discovering universal truths, principles that anyone can apply to live a more mindful, compassionate, and fulfilling life. Each lesson we'll cover is practical. You don't need a monastery, special robes, or hours of free time to use them. All you need is willingness to listen, to reflect, and to take one small step at a time. By the end of this talk, you will have a complete map of wisdom, 18 powerful practices that will guide you towards self-respect, compassion, and inner peace. And as you embody these lessons, something remarkable will happen. Not only will you feel more whole inside, but others will naturally sense it, and they will respect you in turn. So, settle in. Allow yourself to listen with openness. If you can, keep a notebook nearby. Jot down the ideas that stand out to you. Sometimes a single phrase can become the seed of transformation. Let's begin with our first lesson. Lesson 1. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is at the very heart of Buddhism. It is the foundation upon which all the other lessons rest. But what is mindfulness, really? In simple terms, mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, aware of what is happening, both around you and within you, without judgment. It means noticing your breath, your thoughts, your emotions, and the sensations in your body, just as they are. Now, this may sound simple, but think about how most of us live. How often are we truly present? Usually, our minds are racing, replaying past mistakes, worrying about future problems, or drowning in endless to-do lists. Mindfulness invites us to step off that treadmill, to return to this breath, this moment, this now. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you are drinking a cup of tea. Most of the time, we sit without thinking, scrolling on our phones, planning tomorrow's meeting, or rehashing yesterday's argument. But mindfulness asks us to pause, to hold the cup, feel its warmth, notice the rising steam. To take a sip and truly taste it. That ordinary act becomes extraordinary when we are present. Mindfulness does more than make life more vivid. It also gives us space. Space between what happens to us and how we respond. Imagine someone says something unkind to you. Without mindfulness, you may react instantly, with anger, with defensiveness, maybe even with cruelty. But with mindfulness, you notice, I feel hurt. I feel anger rising. And in that noticing, you create room to choose a wiser response. This is why mindfulness earns respect. A mindful person does not get tossed around by every emotion or impulse. They carry themselves with calm awareness. Others sense this and admire it. So how do we practice mindfulness? Start small. One way is mindful breathing. Right now, let's try it together. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Notice the air filling your lungs. Breathe out gently through your mouth. Feel your body relax. Do this for a few cycles. That's it. That's mindfulness. Being with your breath. If you carry this practice into daily life, while walking, eating, or even speaking, you will discover a new steadiness. And that steadiness is the first step toward respect, compassion, and inner peace. Our second lesson is compassion. Compassion is the beating heart of all spiritual traditions, but in Buddhism, it takes a central role. Compassion means recognizing the suffering of others and being moved to help relieve it. Now, compassion begins with awareness. We cannot be compassionate if we are blind to the struggles around us. It might be the silent sadness in a friend's eyes, the exhaustion of a coworker, or even your own pain that you've been ignoring. Compassion asks us to pause, notice, and respond with kindness. Let me share a simple story. A man once asked the Buddha, how should we treat others? The Buddha replied, as if they were a guest. Imagine if we treated every person with that kind of respect, seeing their worth, listening deeply, offering kindness. Compassion isn't only about grand gestures. It's about small daily actions, smiling at a stranger, offering a listening ear, forgiving someone's mistake, or showing patience when you could have been harsh. And here's something we often forget, compassion must also be directed inward. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. Too often, we criticize ourselves, replaying failures and feeding self-doubt. But when you offer yourself compassion, you break that cycle. You say, I am human, I make mistakes, and I am still worthy of love. Compassion builds respect because it creates connection. People remember how you make them feel. If you make them feel seen, heard, and cared for, you earn not just their respect, but their trust and affection. Here's a practice you can try. Each morning, before you start your day, take 1 minute to silently wish well for others. You might say, may I be happy. May my family be happy. May all beings be happy. This simple intention sets the tone for compassion throughout the day. Compassion softens the heart, and a soft heart is not weak, it is strong, radiant, and deeply respected. Lesson 3. Impermanence. Our third lesson is impermanence, the understanding that everything changes. Look around you. The seasons shift, the weather changes, the body ages, relationships evolve. Nothing remains the same. Life is a constant flow. At first, this truth can feel unsettling. We want things to last forever, the happiness, the success, the people we love. But clinging tightly only leads to suffering because change is inevitable. Buddhism teaches that peace comes when we accept impermanence, when we learn to flow with life instead of fighting against it. Think of autumn leaves. Their beauty is in their impermanence. They turn brilliant shades of red and gold precisely because they are about to fall. If leaves were eternal, would we admire them so deeply? Probably not. Or consider the butterfly. Without the transformation from caterpillar to cocoon to winged creature, the butterfly's beauty would never exist. Change is not the enemy. It is the very process that makes growth and beauty possible. Impermanence teaches us to cherish the present moment. When we know nothing lasts forever, we learn to appreciate what is here right now. A conversation with a loved one, a sunset, a moment of laughter, all become precious when we remember they are fleeting. It also teaches resilience. When difficult times come, and they will, we can remind ourselves, this too shall pass. Just as storms give way to clear skies, pain eventually gives way to healing. Respect flows to those who accept impermanence gracefully. Instead of clinging, they adapt. Instead of fearing change, they welcome it as part of life's dance. So I encourage you, today, notice one thing that is impermanent, a flower blooming, the warmth of sunlight, or even your own breath. Let it remind you to treasure this moment, knowing it is unique and will never return in exactly the same way. Impermanence is not a curse. It is life's greatest teacher. Lesson 4. Respect for all beings. Respect is one of the most powerful gifts you can offer. In Buddhism, respect is not reserved only for elders, teachers, or people we admire. It extends to all beings, great and small. Why? Because everything is connected. The food we eat, the air we breathe, the relationships that shape us, all exist through interdependence. When we disrespect another being, no matter how insignificant they may seem, we are in some way dishonoring ourselves. Let me share a story. Once, a monk was sweeping the temple grounds. He noticed ants crossing the path and gently swept around them rather than through them. When asked why, he said, "Their life is as precious to them as mine is to me." Respect begins in small gestures, speaking kindly, listening attentively, acknowledging others, no matter their status. It is in the way we talk to strangers, the way we treat service workers, the way we interact with children, even the way we care for the natural world. People notice respect. When you show it, you earn it back in return. A respectful person carries quiet dignity, and others feel safe and valued in their presence. Here's a practice. The next time you meet someone, anyone, silently remind yourself, this person has joys and sorrows just like me. Their life is as real and important as mine. When you carry this mindset, your words and actions naturally become more respectful. Respect is not weakness. It does not mean letting others walk over you. Instead, it's a deep acknowledgement of shared humanity. When you live with respect for all beings, you align yourself with one of life's greatest truths, that we are all connected, and each deserves dignity. Our next lesson is patience. In today's fast-paced world, patience is often dismissed as old-fashioned. We live in an age of instant results, instant messages, instant food, instant answers. But real growth, real wisdom, and real peace require patience. Patience means enduring discomfort without frustration. It means waiting without resentment. It is the art of allowing life to unfold in its own time. Think of a seed planted in the ground. You cannot rush it to become a tree. You water it, you care for it, and you wait. Impatience will not make it grow faster. In fact, if you dig it up too soon, you destroy it. Life works the same way. In our relationships, patience prevents unnecessary conflict. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. The impatient reaction is anger, perhaps shouting or honking. The patient reaction is to breathe, to let go, to understand that maybe they are rushing to an emergency. Which response creates more peace? Which response earns more respect? Patience also applies inwardly. We must be patient with ourselves. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. Forgiveness takes time. If we demand instant change, we only deepen our suffering. But with patience, we give ourselves the space to transform naturally. Here's a practice. The next time you feel impatience rising, whether in a line at the store, waiting for results, or listening to someone speak, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself, this is an opportunity to practice patience. Slowly, impatience becomes a teacher instead of a tormentor. People deeply respect those who are patient. Why? Because patience is a form of strength. It shows that you are not a slave to impulse, but a master of your own mind. Patience may be quiet, but it carries enormous power. Lesson 6. Generosity. Generosity is the act of giving freely, without expecting anything in return. It is one of the most celebrated virtues in Buddhism, and for good reason. Generosity is not only about money. In fact, some of the most profound acts of generosity have nothing to do with wealth. You can give your time, your attention, your kindness, your patience. Sometimes, the greatest gift is simply your presence. Think about the last time someone really listened to you, not half listened while scrolling on their phone, but truly gave you their full attention. Didn't it feel like a gift? That is generosity. In Buddhism, generosity is seen as freedom. Why? Because when we give, we loosen the grip of attachment and greed. We stop asking, what's in it for me, and start asking, how can I serve? This shift brings lightness, both to the giver and the receiver. Here's a story. A wealthy man once asked the Buddha how he could find happiness. The Buddha said, practice generosity. The man began giving to the poor, supporting the sick, and sharing his wealth. Over time, his heart softened, and he discovered a joy deeper than any riches had ever given him. Generosity earns respect because it reveals character. When people see you give without expectation, they recognize integrity, kindness, and strength. Here's a practice. Each day, commit to one act of generosity. It could be as small as offering a smile, sending an encouraging message, or letting someone go ahead of you in line. Don't underestimate these small gestures. They ripple outward in powerful ways. The beauty of generosity is that the more you give, the more abundant life feels. True generosity doesn't empty you, it fills you. Lesson 7. Non-attachment. Non-attachment is one of Buddhism's most misunderstood teachings. Some think it means indifference, caring about nothing, feeling nothing. But true non-attachment is very different. It means loving fully, engaging deeply, but without clinging or forcing outcomes. Think of holding sand in your hand. If you grasp it tightly, it slips through your fingers. If you hold it gently, you can feel its texture and weight without losing it. Non-attachment is that gentle hold. Why is this important? Because clinging creates suffering. We cling to possessions, to relationships, to achievements, even to our own self-image. When these things inevitably change or disappear, we feel pain. Non-attachment allows us to experience life fully without being enslaved by it. Consider your relationships. Loving without attachment doesn't mean being cold. It means caring for someone without demanding that they fulfill all your needs or define your happiness. It means giving space and freedom while staying connected. Non-attachment also applies to yourself. Release rigid expectations. Accept that growth and change are natural. Let go of the idea that you must be perfect to be worthy. Here's a practice. Notice one thing today that you are clinging to, a thought, an object, or an outcome. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, I appreciate this, but I am not defined by it. Non-attachment is liberating, and those who embody it naturally draw respect because they are balanced, calm, and unshaken by life's ups and downs. Lesson 8. Humility. Humility is often confused with weakness, but it is actually a sign of inner strength. Humility is recognizing that we do not have all the answers, that we are part of a larger whole, and that our knowledge and abilities, though valuable, are limited. In Buddhism, humility allows us to learn. It opens the mind and heart to new ideas, experiences, and perspectives. Without humility, growth becomes impossible because we believe we already know everything. Here's a simple story. A young monk asked his teacher how to achieve enlightenment. The teacher told him, when you think you know, that is the moment you are farthest from understanding. Humility also strengthens relationships. People are drawn to those who are modest, willing to listen, and respectful of others. Arrogance pushes people away. Humility invites trust and connection. A humble person acknowledges mistakes without shame, learns from criticism without resentment, and celebrates the contributions of others without envy. Here's a daily practice. Each night, reflect on one area where you could have been more humble. Maybe you interrupted someone, judged a person too quickly, or took credit for work that was shared. Gently acknowledge it, and consider how you might approach it differently tomorrow. Humility is quiet but powerful. It shows wisdom and earns a respect that loud achievements alone cannot. Lesson 9. Right speech. Words are incredibly powerful. They can heal, inspire, and connect, or they can hurt, divide, and destroy. Buddhism teaches the principle of right speech, which encourages us to speak with mindfulness, truth, and compassion. Before speaking, consider these 4 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it the right time? If the answer to any of these is no, it may be better to pause. Right speech is not about perfection. It is about awareness. Imagine a disagreement with a friend. Without mindfulness, words fly, tempers flare, and relationships suffer. With right speech, even difficult conversations can become opportunities for understanding and growth. Right speech also includes silence. Sometimes the wisest thing we can say is nothing at all. Listening deeply, instead of immediately responding, is a form of respect and wisdom. Here's a simple practice. Throughout your day, notice the words you speak. Ask yourself, are they truthful, kind, and helpful? If not, pause, breathe, and choose differently. People respect those who speak thoughtfully. Words that are measured, honest, and kind leave a lasting impression. Right speech is not just about morality, it is about effectiveness, clarity, and integrity. Lesson 10. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most challenging lessons in life, yet it is also one of the most liberating. Many people misunderstand forgiveness as excusing wrongs or forgetting pain. True forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger, resentment, and bitterness. Holding on to grudges keeps us trapped in the past. Every time we replay a hurt, we relive the pain. Forgiveness allows the mind and heart to release that weight. Consider a story from Buddhist tradition. Two monks were carrying anger toward each other. One realized that holding on to resentment was like drinking poison and expecting the other to suffer. When he chose to forgive, peace replaced the bitterness, and both could move forward. Forgiveness also fosters respect. People are naturally drawn to those who can let go of grudges and treat others with dignity. When you forgive, you demonstrate inner strength, wisdom, and compassion. Here's a practice. Think of someone who has hurt you, whether recently or long ago. Take a deep breath and silently say, "I release this anger. I wish you peace." It may take time, but each practice softens the heart and strengthens your capacity for empathy. Forgiveness is a gift, to yourself as much as to anyone else. Lesson 11. Balance. Balance is the art of living in harmony with life. Buddhism teaches the middle path, avoiding extremes in thought, emotion, and action. Too much indulgence leads to dissatisfaction, too much austerity can lead to exhaustion or resentment. Balance lies in moderation. Think of a tightrope walker. Too far to one side, and they fall. Too far to the other, the same. Only by adjusting moment to moment can they stay steady. Life is similar. Work, rest, relationships, and spiritual practice must all find their rhythm. Balance is also emotional. It is responding to life's challenges with calm awareness rather than reacting impulsively. It is neither suppressing anger nor indulging it. It is seeing the emotion, understanding it, and choosing a thoughtful response. Here's a practical step. Examine your daily life. Are you overextending in one area? Too much work, too much worry, too much screen time? Where could you slow down, simplify, or focus on self-care? Small adjustments create profound harmony. Those who live balanced lives earn respect because they are reliable, steady, and approachable. Balance is a quiet power, felt rather than shouted. Lesson 12. Effort, approximately equals 7 minutes. Effort, or right effort, in Buddhist teachings, is about steady, mindful practice. It's the discipline to pursue growth without forcing or exhausting yourself. Life rewards consistent effort more than occasional bursts of intensity. Think of planting a tree. You water it daily, give it sunlight, and patiently nurture it. The tree does not grow overnight, but with consistent care, it flourishes. Personal growth works the same way. Effort requires commitment and perseverance. Meditation, self-reflection, acts of kindness, and skill development all require effort. But effort is not about strain, it is about mindful engagement with life. Another example, learning a musical instrument. Practicing 20 minutes every day is far more effective than practicing 3 hours once a month. Steady effort builds mastery and confidence over time. Effort also earns respect. People admire those who persist, who do not give up when challenges arise, and who approach life with consistency and purpose. Effort demonstrates integrity. It shows that you care about your life, your relationships, and your growth. Here's a daily practice. Choose one area to put consistent effort into, whether it's meditation, kindness, learning, or health. Commit a small amount of time each day. Notice how steady effort transforms your abilities, your confidence, and your sense of self. Closing reflection, approximately equals 5 to 6 minutes. We have now explored 12 of the 18 Buddhist lessons that guide us toward respect, compassion, and inner peace. Each one, mindfulness, compassion, impermanence, respect, patience, generosity, non-attachment, humility, right speech, forgiveness, balance, and effort, is a tool for transforming your life. The remaining 6 lessons, loving kindness, wisdom, gratitude, self-discipline, simplicity, and joy, continue the journey, offering practices to deepen your understanding and enrich your daily life. As we close today, take a moment to breathe. Reflect on the lessons that resonate most with you. Remember, change does not happen all at once. Transformation comes from small, consistent steps. Even practicing a single lesson for a few minutes each day can create profound shifts in your mind, heart, and relationships. Commit to one practice this week. Maybe it's mindfulness during your morning routine. Perhaps it's an act of generosity or a moment of patience. Notice the effect it has on your life and on those around you. Remember, respect, compassion, and inner peace are cultivated within. They are not given by others, they are grown, nurtured, and embodied. And as you grow in these qualities, others naturally sense it and respond in kind. Thank you for joining me today on this journey. May these teachings guide you to live with wisdom, kindness, and joy. May your heart be light, your mind clear, and your life abundant in peace. Take a deep breath, smile, and step forward into the world, carrying these lessons in your actions, your words, and your heart.